Nice. Fantastic.
Oh, look at that arm. You got a good shot there.
So you work out everywhere?
That's right, dude. As often as I can.
If stuff's not working.
The research has literally shown immediate increases in strength.
Really?
Post-adjustment.
Get your adjustments so that you're get your squat up, especially if you're powerlifting. Yeah, so here with Dr. Hunter Merriman and Chiropractic Adjustments, because I'm traveling all the time, being in planes, sleeping in planes, all kinds of hotels. Back is out of alignment a lot. I've got issues. So Hunter was helping me out a lot today with getting adjustments. But I had some questions just in general about like how important is it for making sure stuff's in alignment, especially lifting heavy weights, like doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts. Like what kind of problems can you get if you're doing that with your back out of alignment and you're not fixing it and you're just doing it over and over and over again? Because you know, stuff's always sore, so it's like, oh, I'm just sore from working out versus if something's out of alignment.
It's critical. So our spine is densely inundated with receptors. We got what they call mechanoreceptors, joint proprioceptors, there's muscle spindles, Golgi tendon apparatuses. These are all receptors that send information to the brain about where you are in space, about your environment, pressures on the spine, tension, all that kind of stuff, mobility. When we have joints that are either out of alignment or restricted, it's not just alignment, it's also restriction. Those receptors are unable to send the proper information to the brain. Because they need to do that in order for your brain to send the proper motor commands down to operate the muscles in the joints symmetrically and distribute the weight of however much you're squatting on your body symmetrically.
So you might not even be able to lift as much weight if you're not able to if stuff's not working.
The research has literally shown immediate increases in strength.
Really?
Post-adjustment.
Get your adjustments so that you're get your squat up, especially if you're powerlifting.
And I'm not saying you're going to immediately, your squat or bench is going to go up 45 pounds after an adjustment, but just because of the symmetry and the balance, the brain also sends more signals down and recruits more muscle fibers to activate during that moment. So there's no hypertrophy. Your muscles don't necessarily get any bigger in that acute instance. But absolute increase.
Yeah, because I always thought about it in the sense of just preventing stuff from hurting versus actually properly lifting as much as you could.
Performance and function,
And then as well, like, you know, I'm typically doing like push-pull legs, swimming, and so like something's always sore somewhere, inflammation, all that going on. Are there specific, I guess, stretches that you would suggest doing on a daily basis to try to help with, I mean, you know, like my upper back was tight and lower back issues, because there's always going to be inflammation working out if you're pushing harder and all that stuff. So I guess, you know, what could I do or other people as well for trying to make sure that you're keeping that movement up as much as possible in your back?
Every joint in your body that's a freely movable joint, what we call a synovial joint, joints that within the joint space, there's literally lubricating fluid. Every joint ideally would go through its full range of motion every day. And even better than that would be going through its full range of motion against some type of resistance, which is why we have to work out.
I've noticed like days when my back's sore, even just getting on the leg press and doing something, it's less sore afterwards. I mean, not just if I feel like something's a little bit out of alignment, just doing a little bit of weight. So that's just that movement, like you're saying, helps with that.
It increases the circulation, and also just the extra movement when you start stimulating those receptors, that actually affects the way the brain perceives pain. So that literally the nerve fibers that pain travels up to the brain versus the ones that send information about movement. The pain fibers are actually smaller in diameter, so the movement fibers kind of have the right of way there. But in regards to the inflammation, if we're trying to grow muscle, that's a bit of that's a mild inflammatory response. That's just kind of part of the deal. But in regards to the inflammation resolving, that comes down to a lot of things. That comes down to the amount of omega-6 in your body versus omega-3s. That ratio.
So nutrition plays into the whole.
It's huge.
Process too.
The dietary fat you consume incorporates into the membrane of all the cells in your bloodstream. So when you have an insult to the body, when you have an injury, the types of fat that make up that membrane really influence that inflammatory response, among other things. Vitamin D, vitamin A, those kind of things.
So if you're dieting down for bodybuilding, so for example, and you have really low levels of body fat, that's gonna probably cause more issues as well, as far as
it can be a factor. I mean, you get down, you're trying to get down, sub 7% body fat. Your body fat levels are low. So it's important to make sure you get your vitamins.
Yeah.
Keep your dietary fat up.
Yeah, because people get scared of fat, so it's like, but you still need to function properly. You have to have it.
There's only two essential macronutrients. That's protein and fat. You have to have those. If you don't, and that's because you don't make them. Our bodies will make carbs from proteins and fats.
Okay. I've actually felt before, like I've noticed the same thing with the leg press. Like I try to get as full range of motion as I can. I felt at times as I'm starting to lift the weight up, like my hips kind of pop some, and it's like they just automatically adjusted themselves from the weight doing that. So that's good at times. So the other question I had was, I have some disc degeneration in my lower few right here. Have you heard of any, like we've been talking about, was it in Mexico? Like the regeneration, like disc regeneration? Have you looked into seen any of that?
I've been hearing about it, but I don't know enough about it to really speak on it.
Because I was doing some research too. Like I'm not doing anything anytime soon, but like as far as future, like where they have disc replacements, which I don't know how good the synthetic stuff, whatever they use for that is, but I mean, I haven't deadlifted or squatted heavy in a long time just because, it's fun, but at the same time, it's not worth it when throw something out and then it hurts for weeks and weeks and I can't really do anything. But I did have fun powerlifting, so just thinking about the future of like...
It's fun, but there is a risk to benefit ratio.
Yeah.
So you really have to decide what do you want? Do you want strength or do you want hypertrophy?
Yeah.
I'm good at both. But.
Yeah, I'm getting in the phase now where it's like, I think I'm getting towards the top end of what I can just naturally do. So I'm like trying to shift a little bit more into just lifestyle and being healthy and staying fit to enjoy life and stuff like this, to keep everything in alignment. Playing with I've got 6 kids, so we're we were jumping off a pier yesterday, and it wasn't really, it was deep enough, but the first time I jumped, I hit a little bit at the bottom and I felt a little jar. I was like, oh, you're so stupid.
Be careful of that. All excellent impact goes right down to those discs.
Yeah.
And as far as getting them replaced, even time someone has a disc surgery, it's usually because there's the pressure on the nerve that's traveling down the leg.
Yeah.
It's the pressure is cutting off the signals, so they're starting to lose function in that leg. When the signals aren't operating the foot, and you start dragging your foot around, you got to get the pressure off real quick because you have a window. The nerve will atrophy, the muscles will atrophy, and cause permanent dysfunction in that leg. So.
Yeah, mine at this point is just kind of irritation. It gets out of alignment. It just kind of stays up in my upper glute region, and it's tight and stiffness, but. Yeah, I don't want to get surgery if I don't have to, obviously, but...
I wouldn't say you're a candidate just yet.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, we're in North Sarasota area. If you're here, come check it out. Next Level Chiropractic. Great care here. Appreciate it, Hunter. And like, subscribe, let me know in the comments if you've got any questions about chiropractic. I'll make sure he sees the comments and maybe he can chime in as well to help you out.
Right.
We'll see you soon.